Oh, what is going on, everybody?
Hello.
It is Pixelminders here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies when we left off. Yuri Cosmos is changing everything in his story faster than...
The speed of light.
Yes, faster than the speed of space. Faster than theories and space-time continuum and all that stuff change all the time. Anyways,
Sure.
we're gonna see, because he's got some secrets about this great door, and we're gonna see what these secrets are. He was doing something suspicious around that door. Maybe we can spot some change between before he came into the room and after.
Detective Fulbright gave us a photo taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Let's see. This is footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. And this is how the door looked after the director entered the lounge.
Hey, look at that! There is a change. Something's definitely different.
Phoenix saw it.
And I've seen it too for a long time. Director Cosmos?
What is it? What have you two been up to over there?
Finding the answer to what you were doing when Detective Arm found you, that's what. And the answer lies clearly in this footage. All I have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation.
Don't be ridiculous. If you were to have an answer, you'd have to point it out already.
Excuse me.
He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident.
The knob thing.
The turny tune.
The stove.
The answer is this knob.
Yeah, that's...
Your Honor, please take a look at this footage.
Let's see.
Take a look at the knob next to the launch pad door. As you can see, it's horizontal.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
However, when we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical.
What does that mean? There it is.
It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob.
Jeez.
After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. Come on now, Director Cosmos. Let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door?
Yeah, fine, I admit it.
Jesus.
Oh god, I'm dizzy. You're right, I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety document to keep the launch pad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions, so I wanted to move the launch pad away.
You wanted to do what?
Hey, didn't Ponko tell us something about how they prepare for launch? She said that once the launch pad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site.
Uh-huh.
Well, the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first.
I guess that clears up what that knob is for.
Oh, so the killer escaped into the launch pad 1 corridor. Maybe they were transported along with the launch pad to the launch site.
I don't think so. The launch pad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor.
So then, where did the killer escape to?
I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Dr. Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launch pad in more detail.
Fine, but listen carefully, for I'm about to give you history-making testimony.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Info update.
I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock.
Happy. Why are you
What?
sad with that?
No, why is there happiness?
What does that say? Well, let's see what else we got here.
I feared there might be more explosions.
Yes, the fear,
So I had to cut the launch pad loose.
because it's not sadness, it's fear. We've learned that.
Sure, the only escape ticket I had was through launch pad 1.
Anger there. Interesting.
But that area was a sea of smoke. Confound it, where on earth could they have gone?
Huh. So,
The happiness about switching it is weird to me.
yeah, I hear you. That's the first thing we'll hit there. We'll see what this has.
Like, why?
I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You make it sound like you were reluctant to do so. And yet, when you did it, you felt some joy as if you were very pleased with yourself.
Yeah.
How did you do it? How did you know everything as if you were there?
Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology.
What now?
So care to explain when you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda.
How did you know about that too?
Because I'm more or less a pro at guessing.
But you have no proof that I had a hidden agenda. Even if I did, I would never ever tell you so there.
I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the cake.
I want cake.
And how could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intellect, and integrity?
You mean intelligence? I mean, intellect works too, but...
Whatever. It's the same thing. You, a man of integrity? Don't make me laugh. But Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden?
Yeah.
You've spouted nothing but falsity since you stepped up to the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatest barefaced liar an honor.
Liar?
Yes!
His words bite harder than his blade. You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosions? My, how naive are you?
How naive you are. But I
How
guess
naive
that
you are.
kind of works too.
You fail to realize that even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. And here's a thought for you, immediately following the bombing. Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge 1's side. The police confirmed this on scene.
What? Liar?
He's still going on about the liar thing.
Yeah.
So that means the director didn't move the launch pad?
Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest liar to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart's content.
He's still freaking out about that.
But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find where the killer escaped to.
Jesus.
You're sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out. Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking.
Damn.
Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it is. Or are you not man enough to, boy?
Oh!
Go!
He just buoyed Phoenix. Talk about hitting below the belt.
The youngins these days... I'll understand it. I'm sure Dr. Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. But the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Yeah. Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if they had to turn the knob, not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about?
Even the Hawk was
What
like,
if the
what?
launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it'll be right where the police found it. Oh, my hair.
Stop cutting the
Hey,
clip.
it's back.
Oh no, he did the side! He did the basically. He made him sound like Mr. Starbuck.
Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you, however. Our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wanderers made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film.
Posterity.
Oh, right. Alright. So to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy.
Oh.
No!
Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved.
But our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction of each other.
Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched even for me.
Never actually boarded the rocket. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe.
Huh?
Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went into another place? What if when the director moved launch pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential bull or I'll cut you.
Damn. Mr. Wright, you explain yourself at once?
I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. Director Cosmo's reason for moving launch pad 1 was?
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't know what he's on about. Maybe you do.
I'm trying to think here for a second. I don't think it was to hide it because that would make sense. I want to say it was to switch with another place, but you keep saying this another place
Because he
thing.
keeps saying another place. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because I can't say the top down, but I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the museum that's on Launchpad 2, because that technically can still move as well.
What other place is he talking about?
Launchpad 2. The second, the museum area, because that is a launch pad as well. It was the original launch pad, if I'm correct. I'm gonna go switch it with another place. The bar disappeared. Good. All right. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place.
I'm sorry, but did you say switch it? But what could be possibly have switched if he possibly switched it with the launch pad with?
Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box and this becomes clear as day. What? This is what was switched with Launchpad 1. I'm going I'm going balls hog. Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1 and can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other.
But you can't mean.
The rocket the astronauts aboard was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum.
What?
Right?
Balderdash!
Jesus.
Balderdash!
And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency.
Yeah.
This is that the Space Center was just before the incident.
I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places.
That's right. And with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum from boarding lounge 1. This allowed the true killer to enter Launchpad 1 from boarding lounge 2. And set the bomb on the rocket.
Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from boarding lounge 2.
Welcome, welcome! The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Exactly. Anyone could pass through the door to the Space Museum. There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. Gah! After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck on into boarding lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who, we can suppose after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, the Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway.
No.
Right, Dono, I see you know how to handle a sword and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff? I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Yes.
That was a compliment. Unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword.
That's not you don't prove I switched to launch pads.
Somebody is a better anger management counselor.
If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere.
At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other.
So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see, this is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor.
Okay.
Do you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage?
Huh? That number on the floor.
A 1.
Well, what do you know? It looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackquill. And if this is just another bluff... Oh, don't worry. That's all right here.
There's a 2, yeah.
Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum.
Very well then, answer this for me if you would. What in this footage proves that the corridor belongs to the Space Museum?
The 2 on the floor. Granted, it's not
The 2 for...
perfectly in view, but it's there.
It's there enough. There's a 1 on the floor in the Launchpad 1 corridor.
Yes.
But taking a look at the floor in the corridor in the security footage.
Boom.
You see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see there is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1?
I wonder.
That's because the corridor you see is to the 1 to the Space Museum.
Ooh. Everyone's dying. And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke.
That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1 on the side opposite the Space Museum. And now that we know the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum,
How many times are you going to say Space
the
Museum?
mystery from the previous trial of how they got down that ladder is cleared up. Mr. Terran, carrying Mr. Starbuck, simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level.
Just incredible. The 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude?
Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface.
Oh God, so many letters. He's foaming at the mouth.
I don't hurt a little bit.
It sounded painful.
just a tiny bit. The museum.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Widget.
You're welcome. No more lies, Dr. Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth.
Woo! Stop screaming!
That's all he's...
My honor, my lord, everything's slipping away. Don't blow up our weapon. Galactic engine. Ignition. What? It's gone haywire. Oh God. It won't stop. Yeah.
Oh my God.
My stars. My glory. Yeah.
Oh my Jesus.
No, not that way. God.
Fantastic. I love it. I'm living for it. That's amazing.
But bailiff on your steed, and after that witness.
Yes, your honor.
I was on your steed. It was a horse.
It's more like a miniature pony, but
It
does the same thing. We can't fit a whole horse in the courtroom. I keep them in the second men's room stall.
Oh my God.
I see we've managed to retrieve you from before you came to any bodily harm.
Dr. Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads?
His face.
I admit it's true. I switched Launchpad 1 for the Space Museum.
It is good to hear words I can believe for a change. It's so rare when Mr. Wright is in the courtroom.
Before you do, Your Honor, 2 things.
Oh boy.
First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped in the Space Museum. That it had been switched with Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Dr. Cosmos to tell us why he switched the 2 launch pads to begin with.
And please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say, my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast.
The director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why.
Probably not a good time to try and pry it out of him, huh?
He looks terrified.
Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing.
Jesus.
I don't see why not. The bailiff helped the director retrieve his stars.
Jesus.
It appears a possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say?
I don't get it.
Don't get it? What don't you get?
Director, why did you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us.
Mr. Starbuck?
Starbuck, my boy, I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why, but I had to do it to protect the Space Center.
Director! Will I ever get the chance to go into space again?
Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you into space again, my boy.
Then the dream is still alive.
Yes, don't let it die. Whoa!
Uh-oh. Oh, we know who that was. Huh. You're not going into space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way.
Right, Burger
Why are you
King.
so hung up on him? Yes, except the launch pads really were switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose I could have escaped. But I've yet to see proof of this third person escape via the Space Museum.
Oh, that's a good point.
He's right. I don't have any proof.
Unfortunately.
Starbuck, you will spill everything you know.
Oh my god. What? Me? He's dying.
Where'd you get those bombs? Tell me how. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood.
If I'm going to die, I want to die in space.
I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck. Prepare yourself.
That you can't do that. There you go.
Now you know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell.
We know that. We know who that is.
That annoyingly cheerful
Yes.
none other than
Yeah. Well, you nailed
Hello!
it. Yes.
Champion of Righteousness Bobby Fulbright here. In justice we trust.
Detective Fulbright.
I both love and well, no, I don't hate him. I like this guy.
He has a good side.
He
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late.
I don't believe we've had an appointment.
I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street.
Likely story.
And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell her just to serve a full-time job.
Was it a fight between cats?
Yeah.
Or, why are you here again?
Because the defendant is a culprit, and I came to make sure that justice is served.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright, I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed?
Nope, but it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours.
Oh yeah.
Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice cloud your judgment.
What evidence?
Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of
That's
evidence
right.
for you.
He did say that.
Yeah?
I didn't think he was serious though. I was about to say I didn't think you'd actually gonna find
know, right?
something.
So it is a detective. Is something that'll prove Mr. Starbuck's innocent?
It is indeed. Have a look at this.
What's this? A lighter?
That's right, a lighter
Oh.
thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood along with his killer's fingerprints on it.
What?
That's like damning evidence. Watch it have Starbucks prints on it.
And that's the end of our case.
Yeah.
Well,
There'd be literally nothing we can
it's
do.
like, you know what? Well, I'll take this loss.
Order! Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant?
You bet! Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it.
This is our big
This
break.
is just what I needed.
Yeah.
But whose are they?
I was about to say, who is the culprit's fingerprints?
Yeah. Ooh.
Your Honor, this is decisive evidence supports the defense's claim or earlier claim.
Claim earlier.
Sorry, I
Explain
fucked up.
yourself, Mr. Wright.
With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered
I
Mr.
haven't heard that in
Taryn,
a while. Extrapolate.
they escaped with lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Yoinkity doink. Then finally the killer left through boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder, a fact that Dr. Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been the one to drop the lighter there. Now, but the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Can I have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time? You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Dr. Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with the lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Latlow, this lighter could only have been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you?
You're fucked.
This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit.
Jesus.
This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims.
As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer and the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No,
Yep.
there must be some mistake.
Nope.
Frankly, Prosecutor Black Quill, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow.
Oh, what? Spill the tea.
Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that.
Spill the tea.
Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Does it have anything to do with like 7 years being... Yes, because isn't it 7 years of statute of limitations for finding a real killer?
Oh, before the case
'Cause-
is closed?
Because potentially Prosecutor Blackquill could be entirely innocent and he was framed for it, and he's trying to find this person that was guilty, and so maybe he assumes by trying to fight it, even though it's not Starbuck, that's the closest thing he can grasp at to try and figure this out. Maybe. Well, let's find out. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow?
You're throwing theories out there again.
Yes, I am.
Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say that the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact it was impossible for him to have committed the crime, a few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two can uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, not guilty!
Yay!
Welcome to me.
Jesus, stop. Oh my god. Calm yourself.
PTSD, man.
He's fine. Look at him.
Shh, they don't do that before in the other games. Let my headcanon remain the same.
No, he's fine.
I love this part.
Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright.
Looks like they pulled it off somehow, huh? Well, it's somehow from Detective Fulbright.
Yeah. Oh, me, it's me. I forgot.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. Please thank Apollo for me, too. You all are the best. Oh, I wish we could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now.
Hey, let's say this. Hey. Apollo's not here right now. Someone's fingerprints are unaccounted for on that lighter. Anyways.
What?
Yeah, me too. Apollo's the killer. We're going.
Oh my
I'm going
god,
with it.
no.
But that's going to have to wait.
Now that the verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned.
Yeah, there we go. I bapped the table to bap with the judge.
Objection!
Okay.
He already hit the gavel, dude.
It's too late to object, isn't it? It simply is impossible. Something's wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict?
Fulbright, what were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and well, I kind of got carried away when I heard the prince weren't Mr. Starbucks, so you have yet to read it? Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prince belonged to? Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to Athena Sykes. So says the report.
What?
What? Huh?
Me?
Athena? You got some splaining to do?
What?
Order, I say, order! Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion.
I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit.
This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece, and I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this?
Ooh.
God! What have I done? Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
Order! Detective Fulbright, stop your crying!
What in the world is happening here? That's like the world's gone mad.
Order! I will have order!
Jesus.
Dude, there ain't no order in this courtroom
No.
right now.
Oh my god. Even Blackwell's like, hold up.
Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly onto us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness.
For real. Whew. End.
And that is the end of the cosmic turnabout. And so next time brings us upon the final main episode, Turnabout for tomorrow.
Oh boy. And it is for tomorrow.
Yes,
we're gonna
tomorrow. We're going to play the tomorrow of the
Yeah.
Turnabout for tomorrow. Oh, yeah, let's fucking do it! Athena, why are you murdering people?
I didn't murder anyone!
Well, you better explain yourself, girl.
The only thing I murder is cake and chips at 3 a.m. when I'm depressed.
Christ.